Well, hello friends. Today we're going to work on the desktop stuff in Serenity because I noticed this little thing I have here on my Mate, or however you say it, desktop, and it struck me that we can't do that in Serenity because we can't just put files on the thing and nothing happens if you try to interact with the desktop. So today I'd like to make some way that we can have a file manager that's running, managing the desktop surface and making it possible to have icons on your desktop. So for starters, we're just gonna make like a page, not a page, a directory here. We'll call it like desktop. And then whatever we find in the desktop directory, we will show on the desktop. So pretty basic. And then maybe we'll put a little file here. Cool txt. And in that file, we'll put something that finally works. And then when we can actually open that, then we know that it works. So let's see, how are we going to do this? I have not thought at all about this. I just came up with the idea 1 minute ago. So let's see. Let's go in the file manager. Okay, so how about we allow you to run the file manager app with a special mode, and you started with some flag, and then it doesn't create the normal UI, but it just creates like a single window and tells the Windows server, hey, this window is a desktop window. And then the Windows server is like, okay, I'll let that window make up the root of the window hierarchy, something like that. Let's try it. That may or may not be how it works on other systems. I've never really looked at it, but I assume that it's something similar. I know that in the old times on Windows, like if your desktop would freeze, and usually if you killed explorer.exe, then it would start working again. But that's the extent of my knowledge of other designs. So let's say that this is the file manager main. So after we have instantiated the application, and then maybe we'll just say, instead of going through the normal like create a file manager window blah 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 thing, we'll say if app args, wait, what is args? It's a vector of strings. So we'll just do something like this. Really lazy here. I should be using args parser, but I just want to move forward. So well, now we're gonna run in desktop mode. So we're gonna do this whole other thing. None of this thing. This is like the this whole path here is the run in file manager mode. Maybe we should split these up. So run in desktop mode, else run in windowed mode. Okay, and then we'll bust all of this stuff out. Wow, this is long. Okay, and then here we can just say return run in windowed mode. All right. And we're missing some stuff that was declared further upstairs. I guess the config, right? So we'll pass the config. Run in windowed mode. Refer to core config file. Okay. And then I guess we'll need to declare these guys somewhere so that they can be seen. Window mode, windowed. All right. Great. Now we have a little bit of red here, so let's just see what it's complaining about. App, yeah, we can fix this by doing GUI application done. Then we have some red all the way down here. argc, argv. Oh, so we were doing some stuff like that. I guess we can grab this and pass it in next to the config stuff. So we'll say like string initial location. Then we'll do that here, blah, blah, blah. Just a little quick reorganizing here, so we have two separate things. Right, so we are mostly good. Now we just have to implement run in desktop mode. So how hard can it be? So we'll make a window, but we will call it something other than file manager. Subtitle desktop manager. Ooh, spicy. All right, and then we'll ignore the initial location because it's always going to be my home directory desktop. Or maybe we should, you know what, let's ignore it and let's do it this way. If it's the desktop, then blah, blah, blah. And then we'll say home and non-desktop for now. And then we can mess more with that a bit later. Maybe we can be a little bit better about it actually. Core, do we have core user info? Core user home, what the heck is it called? Get current user home path. Okay, I don't love that name, but it is what it is. Core get current user home path. Is that not even in the core namespace? Okay, well, note to self, nicify that API. Anyway, so now we have the initial location, so we'll say that, what are we going to create here? We want to create essentially we want to have the icon view that we normally have, and we want to have like a lot of the stuff from the normal file management stuff. So we're going to have to share a bunch of this gunk down here. So this actually reveals how the file manager program is kind of badly factored because we instantiate so much of the UI in main, and now that we want to use it in another function, it's not immediately transferable without copy pasting, which we don't really want to do. So we may have to come up with some better abstraction here, but let's just get something up and going. So first thing we want is we want to set the window type to something special. So GUI window type desktop, and then we'll say window show return app GUI application the exec. All right, so maybe we should start by just making anything show up, really. So we can just make a stupid widget. Set main widget, GUI widget, and then we'll do something like fill with background color true, widget, palette. We need to include palette, set color, wait, how do we do this? Set background, no, set color role, background, color, magenta, the best color for testing. Okay, so if we can get the desktop to become magenta, then we know that this program controls the whole desktop, right? So widget set palette. All right, how do you say palette? Palette, right? Okay, so now we need to invent this window type. So this will be a new window type here. And also on the Windows Server side, because these are kind of duplicated, which is not super great. Okay. And actually, let's go and see where this is used. So when we are told to make a new window, I guess we'll just obey. And then let's see what happens if we run this the way it is right now. I think nothing at all will happen because Windows Server is not aware of the window type, so we'll have to fix that in Window Manager. It's really weird the way we iterate the windows. So we have this is how the Z order of windows is determined, that we have this iteration helper for each visible window from back to front. So the way that, the order in which this guy calls the callback determines the Z order. And then it's doubly horrible because we have a front to back variant as well, which has to be in reverse order or things will not be consistent. So definitely room for improvement here, but let's see. So this is back and front. So the desktop is most definitely in the back, right? Desktop window type in the very back, and when we go front to back, then we gotta do him last. So the very last one needs to be desktop, and the next to last one is normal. Okay. And then I feel like we should probably auto size the desktop window. So when somebody says create window to the Windows Server, so then we would be here in Windows Server client connection window handle the create window message. So let's see, we'll just hackety hack it right here. So if window or if message window type is window type desktop, and then the rect of the window is going to become, can we say, oh, let's just do the screen rect for now. So wait, what is this called nowadays? I don't even remember. Screen rect. Okay. Then we are not using these guys, so we'll just say okay, and maybe we can get some speed here. Well, this is going to be good. I haven't been hacking on Windows Server or File Manager or anything for quite some time. But it's about time we we do some stuff other than the browser, I guess. And it's nice because the browser stuff and the JavaScript stuff, especially JavaScript, has like all this momentum right now anyway, with many other people contributing to it, like Linus and Stefan and what is this guy's name who keeps working on the array right now? Kessie. So we got a lot of people working on these things. So maybe it's time for me to take a little break and work on something else. All right, so this is not magenta, but what if we start this guy? Okay, so this is a little bit of magenta right there. It's in the very back, but it's not the right size. We have black here, which leads me to believe that the Windows server thinks that the size is right. Kind of interesting, actually. Okay, it doesn't show up here, that's good. And the window switcher. So this is what the rect really is, right? And then I guess we should tell the window to redraw itself. Oh, do we do that anyway? No, we don't really. Should we let the window... Wait, how do we do this? Resize. I guess we can do a request update. Does that work? Otherwise, we can just drive the update from the file manager app. It's not such a big deal. Just kind of curious what this would look like if we actually request an update immediately. See if he would care. No, he doesn't. All right, so let's just do that, and let me add a shorthand. Oh, should I just use args parser maybe? But okay, there we go. So now we can run fm-d and we'll get desktop mode. Okay, so we should be able to do a widget update. Apps, file manager. No? Maybe it's after we show, say, desktop window is window rect. I guess I just want to learn, well, we could use the inspector for this, but I wanted to learn what the size of the window is from the client's perspective. Okay, this is how big he thinks it is. That's good. Okay, so let's go and look at the... Let's look at the... Use the inspector to connect to the file manager. Wait. This is all weird. Why can't I click on these to switch between them? I feel like I just screwed up that window order I was talking about. What in the what? From front to back. Desktop is in the back. From back to front. Desktop is in the back. Oh, look at that. This is so weird. All of these guys are doing front to back, front to back, front to back, and then he just says back to front. for notification. So that's a typo. Oh man. It should be front to back. And likewise for the normal type here, it needs to be front to back. So not only are we... This is the kind of bug that you make when you have this stupid duplication, right? Okay, so we're fixing an old bug and a new bug at the same time here. Great. I guess we never noticed because notification windows don't overlap anyway. Because the notification server always makes sure to place them apart from each other. That's a pretty silly bug. Okay, so now we should be able to connect to this fellow. See, now they work normally. Yep. File manager, and then we will inspector 22. All right, so this is the window. Window is 1024 by 768, and this widget is this size. So I guess he never got a resize event. Maybe we never send out a resize event from Windows Server client connection. How do we send resize events? I just have to look this up. Windows Server, window. Post event, resize event. All right. So how do we generate one of these guys? Set full screen, set tiled, recalculate rect. Recalculate rect. I think we can call that. That's used by set resolution. Okay, so we can use that, I think, to get a freebie resize event. That might be okay. Okay, and then we'll do a window. But, you know, this is kind of weird anyway. Set desktop true. Let's do it this way. Set desktop. But he knows that he's a desktop window. I don't know how I would like to do this. Okay, let's just choose something so we can make some progress here. So this should force the window to push a resize event over to the client, which will then react by resizing the magenta widget. There we go. Okay. So, cool. And then if we turn that off, window disappears. So we have a desktop window. I think we're going to commit only this just as a baseline functionality here. You know, yeah, we'll just take it as it is. Windows server add window type desktop for this new window type used to implement a desktop file manager, for example. All right, and then what are we gonna do next? So I guess we'll go on file manager and let's put a widget on it, I guess. So what we really want now is just a regular item view, but we want it to be see-through so we can see the background color. And other than that, we want it to be an item view. So icon view is GUI, item view. Construct. Oh no, we can actually say widget. We're not going to need any layout here, so this can actually be the root widget as well. So let's just say ploop, ploop, ploopity ploop. Okay. Set model. So how do we normally make this file system model? We just create one file system model. File system model is one of the least amazing things in the system right now, and it's not even his fault. It's just that the model view stuff is like we pushed it to its limit, and now we need to build a better model view thing. But that's not exactly where my headspace is right now, so we're not going to build a new model view system. We're just going to plug the existing one into the desktop, and then that's what we're doing today. Create, yeah, okay, and we are going to use the initial location, and then we'll probably, yeah, that name is fine. I was thinking initial path, but initial location is okay. And yeah, unlike the file manager, like if you double click on something on the desktop, we're going to open a new file manager. We're not going to like switch what the desktop is showing, because that would be a bit weird. So we'll do that. And geez, I wonder, oh wait, that's not at all what I meant to do. Let's see how this goes. This is very very exploratory because I don't know. All right, look at that. And it even reacts to events, but if I click outside, it gets very upset. You're trying to paint something and it doesn't have a palette. A palette of all things. Null palette pointer. How is that even possible? Well, I guess we'll find out, but it did look kind of cool, right? Like we could actually see something here. So very stellar progress. Let's fix up that, like the fact that it is under the menu bar, it's stupid. So let's correct the rectangle here. Window manager, do we have something like a desktop rect? We'll put that here. So desktop rect, window manager. So we have the menu bar rect, but there's no such thing as a desktop rect. Then there's a taskbar rect, which we'll have to subtract from this guy. But the most important part is to just get rid of the menu bar, because then like if you bleed under the taskbar, it's less of an issue than bleeding under the menu. But we probably make it so that it doesn't bleed under the taskbar either. Desktop rect. So if active full screen window, so if somebody's full screen, then we can't see the desktops. Desktop, go away. Otherwise, then we will say we want a rectangle whose starts x is going to be 0, y is going to be menu bar rect, bottom plus 1, because this is 1 below the bottom pixel of the menu bar, and that's the y value, and then the width is going to be the screen, the width, the height is going to be screen, the height, minus menu bar rect height. Do we have the task? Taskbar height is here, it's 28. It's a magical number. What is this thing? Taskbar rect. Who calls this? Set taskbar rect. Set window taskbar rect. Oh yeah. That's it's like, where is this window in the taskbar? So this is not related to how big the taskbar is. I think we're gonna use that magic number here. So 28. I don't know exactly how we should plumb this, where this should be constant defined, or maybe it shouldn't be constant. But for now, we'll use a magic constant, just so that we can move forward. Let's see. Come on now. All right, look at that. We have a scroll bar and everything. We're gonna have to get rid of that. But you can see that the scroll bar ends at just the right place, and it's very, very nicely sized, at least. So, servers, Windows server. Windows server. Give the desktop window the whole desktop, the whole exact. Okay. And then now we gotta make this thing see-through and not scroll bar-y, so we can probably do a fair amount of that stuff here. So item view, set scroll bars enabled, false. That's the start, and then item view set should set fill with background color false. See how far that gets us. I feel like it's still going to draw the frame around it itself, so we'll have to disable that. Okay, so scroll bar is gone, but we still have the background coming through. So how do we do that? We have to go in item view, and then paint event, and he's just filling here. So what if we say if fill with background color? If you should, then you can. But if you shouldn't, then we won't. So now we should respect that flag. Nope, turns out we don't, because I didn't rebuild libgui. All right. Oh, black. We're gonna have to make that window have an alpha channel so that we can see through it. But we've done this before, so we already have that feature. So window set has alpha channel true. I think if you don't draw anything, then you should be fine. And look at that. Clickety click. So it doesn't render with an active color because I guess this window never becomes active. Only this normal window here is allowed to be active. But we should allow you to focus the desktop. So that's progress. Look, we can drag. Click. I dropped it here. And it looks really weird. But it's a start. So let's see. Oh, right, it's the icon says GUI icon. That looks really weird, so let's fix that. That's gonna be the model column. we have to tell it to use the right model column to display the text. So set model column is GUI file system model column name. That should give us the name as the icon title, name of the file. Look at that, it's cool TXT. Man, we are going places here. The frame around here looks, in a way, I really like the way it looks, but it also looks a little bit out of place. Somehow, so let's get rid of it. And the easiest way to do that, I think, is to just hardcore override. So we'll just say like set frame thickness 0. So it's going to be a subtle change, but it'll be a little bit visually better, I think. There we go. So now you can see there's no framing whatsoever in any of the corners, right? We just, there it is. Oh, and it even kind of lights up a little bit when I hover. It's very cool. I wonder what happens if I go here and I create a new file. That's pretty cool. So it automatically detects that something new showed up and it adds it to the desktop. All right, so that's awesome. Maybe they should go vertically instead of horizontally, but this is the kind of stuff we don't have to figure out right now. We are just getting some basic stuff into place here. All right, so let's see what we want to add here. This is just making item view respect the fill of background color thing, so we'll commit that. GUI make item view respect the fill background color, respect widget. This makes it possible to create a see-through item view. Cool. All right, so I guess we should look at that crash. What was that even? Do we have it here still? This looks like it. All right, so it's palette in item view second paint event. So this guy is trying to get, oh, look at that. He's trying to get the palette of the parent widget. Well, that's not going to work if you don't have a parent widget. Why does this try to get the palette from the parent widget? That makes no sense. How about we just don't do that? We don't have a parent widget. We're the main widget. That's why it's crashing. So we can just not do that. That should solve the problem, basically. Okay. Oh, look at that. We can select. Oh, this looks like ass. That's definitely an issue that has to do with, I guess, the fact that we have an alpha channel and then we never clear. We never clear before we repaint, so we're gonna have to be a bit smarter about that. But let's commit that separately first. The crash fix. The GUI fix crash in item views when rubber banding in main widget item view. Fix item view crash on rubber banding in main widget. Yeah. For some reason, this was trying to access the palette of the parent widget, which is obviously not going to work if the item view itself is the main widget in its window. Cool. Okay, so let's deal with that alpha painting thing there. Maybe the easiest way to do it is to just... if we never fill, then we should still fill it with... we should fill... what should we do? I guess we should just fill it with clear pixels with 0 alpha. So this is a little awkward, but we can solve it that way. The only other program currently that uses the alpha channel windows is the terminal, and it very meticulously manages its pixel buffer. So here it's like we kind of would want a generic solution, but at the same time, this is not really a generic situation, so since we're running with a custom window type and everything anyway, so I'm thinking we could make an intermediate widget and he could always clear his pixels on paint. We could do that. That would be a little bit like desktop widget. So now the item view is not going to be the main widget anymore. So it's a good thing that we found that bug while it still was the main widget. So we'll just make a new widget. And probably end up putting this in a separate file eventually, but right now we'll do it this way. Something like that. And what we want to do here is really just override the paint event. And it's a GUI paint event. Alright, and then we make a painter. Paint into this, and we say painter, clip yourself to the event rect. And we need painter. Set clip. It's not set clip rect. What is it then? Add clip rect. Yes. Painter fill rect. Event rect. We want to fill. Wait, is there such a thing as like clear? There is clear rect. Alright, so we want clear. Because clear and fill are different, because fill will do alpha blending, whereas clear will just overwrite. It's like a memset for pixel values. So we're going to clear everything in the rect with a completely empty color value. And then that will become the main widget. So we'll call it the desktop widget, and then we'll say the item view is desktop widget's first child, item view. That's not a GUI desktop widget, it's just my desktop widget. Set layout, GUI, vertical box layout. Because you have to have some layout, otherwise it doesn't know what to do with any children that you add to it. Okay, that solves that problem. So it's, it's pretty computation heavy what we're doing now, because we're like repainting the whole thing all the time when you have a big selection. So we could definitely do better and smarter in some ways, but let's just go with this for now so that it looks correct, and then we can optimize later. So that didn't require any outside stuff. So I guess we should try to react when you click on something. So let's say that item view on activation is, and I forget what the, just have to look up the signature of the callee. So it's just gets a model index, no big deal. So we are here, and we'll just capture everything. Since we're going to stay in this function until the end of the program, so we can use amp capture, it's fine. And then we just want to, I guess, whatever it is, we just want to compute the file name of the thing that you're activating. Activation is double click or select and press enter. So we just want to compute the file name of the thing and then send you there. I guess we try to open that thing somehow. So let's see. Path. Let's make a string builder. Builder, append. Oh wait, we're probably doing this somewhere already. In directory view maybe? On activation. Handle activation. So here we're doing this stuff, but I feel like this should really not be in File Manager, a lot of this, because it's this kind of abstract desktop operation, right? Like open a file. And you know, if it's a PNG, then you want to open it in Quick Show, and if it's a text file, you want to open it in the text editor and so on. And it's not good to have this logic squirreled away in the File Manager program because it's kind of generic, and you would like it for anyone to be able to say, hey, desktop system, open this path, and it'll just figure it out. And in fact, it's something that I really miss from macOS when I'm on Linux, because on macOS you can just type like open dot, and it knows what to do. Like it will open that in Finder, and if you open a PNG, it will open it in Preview or whatever. And if you open a URL, it will bring up Safari. And that's something I definitely want to have in our system here in Serenity. So we should probably make something for that. Oh, who am I thinking of? Qt. They have some API for that. Let me just see what that is. It's like Qt desktop services, I think. Do they have something like open URL? If URL is a reference to a local file, then it will be opened with a suitable application instead of web browser. See, this, I think this is the kind of thing that we want. So I think we're going to add that, maybe even right away. So with GUI, I have been borrowing so many concepts and ideas and API styles from Qt, so we're borrowing one more. We're going to do a desktop services open. That's going to be nice. So let's see, touch desktop services. Okay, and then the empty file, it builds. Fantastic. And then we'll need to refresh desktop services. And let's do namespace GUI. Pragma unse. Alright, and desktop services. Look at me, snatching that awesome API name. And I guess it would just have something like a static. Do we want to return failure for this thing? I guess it might be nice to say, oh, I couldn't open that. Open URL, right? Just that, that's pretty cool. And then we will bring in act URL. I feel like that's exactly the API that they had, you know. And then we don't need that anymore. We're just taking this great idea and we're bringing it with us. So clickety clack. So bool desktop services open. GUI desktop services. Okay, so if Earl, wait, we need. So if the protocol is file, then do cool stuff. Otherwise, turn false if we couldn't open it, I guess. And then otherwise we'll open it in the browser. So I guess we'll have to fork. Here we could not fork. Sorry about that. I think that might be the first time in my life I'm checking if fork fails. But let's be a good boy. So this goes in Stadia. We should make a C++ pair thing. Actually, I don't like using pair like this. False. Okay, but if it succeeds, actually this is no way to do that. Child bit is fork. Okay, if not child pit, that means I am the child. Execgo bin browser. So this will only be available if you have like the suitable set of pledges. We might want to move this to like something like something like a launch service that would launch something on your behalf. But for now, we're just gonna use this kind of API, and then we can think about if it's the perfect API at some point later. But things don't have to be perfect right away. So here we are just gonna hand in the URL, just like that. Oof. And I guess if that fails, then we should pair as well. Return false. Wait. I guess it's okay. This could be better. Because we should like deal with waiting on the child and everything. And I guess the right thing to do is to just orphan the child. But for now this is okay. And then let's see. For the file protocol, we want to do whatever the file manager was doing. So like, we had all these different scenarios here, right? Based on the path. So I think we'll do this. And then we'll say GUI desktop services open. And then we just want to create a file URL. Open. Do we even have something for that? Oh, we have to make it. All right, that's fine. Set protocol file set path. Okay. Okay, cool. And then in the desktop services, this is where we put this hunk of junk. Static, open file. Okay, return open file URL. And then we can maybe put that further away, just so that we get things a little bit manageable here. This should really be going to like some kind of system database and looking up like what is the appropriate program for this extension, stuff like that, or like some kind of MIME type guesser. Many different approaches we can take here, but for now we will just go with the hard-coded list that we were using in the file manager already. Oh, this one is actually a bit special, so maybe we should have kept that part actually in the this stuff we should have kept in the file manager directory view. Because if you click on a folder in the file manager, then we still want to open it in the file manager. So we'll keep that here. But then we'll go here, and I think if you click on a folder here, we want to open it in the file manager, right? So, wow, look at all these fork and execs. Should we just use system? But it's so gross. But I was such a good boy checking the error code of fork, but now I don't want to deal with all of these. Yeah, well, whatever. So if execl bin file manager URL path characters null putter less than 0 pair execl cert not reached. All right. Cool. And then if everything is fine, so yeah, I mean, this is not perfect, because like as long as the fork succeeds, we'll just say, yeah, it succeeded in opening the thing. Maybe there could be some better check here, but wait, what is this even? This is an executable? Okay, so if it's an executable, then we want to open the executable itself. So currently we just run it, basically fork and exec the thing. It's a little bit hardcore, but it'll be okay. And then, wait, ends with, oh yeah, I guess that's okay. So this is quick show for PNGs, and for HTML we spin up the browser. So same situation as HTTP, or like any other protocol with file, except that we don't special handle it. So I feel like this is so repetitive. We could really do this in a helper. So we can just do like spawn then file manager URL path. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then we'll have static bool spawn string executable string, something like that. And then this will just be if fork if execl executable characters. argument characters null putter. If that fails, return false, pair execl. But we already forked anyway, so yeah, whatever. Spawn. Maybe we should have a spawn syscall that combines fork and exec. I keep thinking about maybe that would be a good idea, because fork and exec is like, you so often do fork and exec, right? And you don't care about the effect of fork because you're just immediately going to exec something anyway. And it might be nice to not have to do all of the page table duplication and stuff like that. Anyway, so I guess we'll ignore that one. And then what are we gonna do here? Spawn the URL path itself with no argument. So like an empty string, basically. Yeah, this is getting a bit better. Okay. Wow, look at us cleaning things up. I can even say quick show here instead of QS. Quick show is like, it almost sounds like Apple-y, Apple-like. I kind of want to rename it to something more Serenity-like, like Image Viewer or something like that. But maybe not right now. Return spawn bin sound player. Okay, and if all else fails, return spawn the omnivore text editor. He will eat any file that you give him. Boom. That's actually pretty tidy. So let's take this even further and use this once more for spawning the browser as well. So we'll just say spawn. Should have done it this way from the beginning. Holy moly. URL to string characters. Okay. Just to string. All right. So then finally, in directory view, we have handle activation. So we got to do this stuff to get the path. We just ask the model for the full path to the index that was activated. So if the index that was activated is not valid, fine, ignore that. And then otherwise, we will just ask the model for the path, and then we'll say desktop GUI desktop services open path. With GUI desktop services. I can't pragma unse in desktop services CPP. What do I think? This is some kind of header file? Come on. All right. Clickety click, and it opened in the browser because it's a dumbass. But at least something opened. I guess he thinks that this is the thing that it was supposed to open. He's very confused about it. Maybe it's not his fault. Let's see what he thinks he was doing anyway. Oh, and also let's see if the regular file manager even still works. So now this looks kind of goofy here because we're not saying he should fill in his background. we should fix that. Opening a file works. It sent us to a new directory. That's not super great. Yeah, this stuff, file manager is a little bit broken. We have bugs open about this. Like you click on something, it'll take you to a different directory in the background. But let's see. By the way, I didn't even mention anything about this, but I'm running with somebody added a this theme today that was supposed to be like 16-bit Windows era. It's called Redmond. And because me personally, I'm a bigger fan of the 32-bit Windows era, so I added Redmond 2000, which uses the color scheme from Windows 2000, and Redmond uses the one from, I think it's Windows 95 with 16 colors, maybe? I'm not actually sure exactly which one this is. But I don't know, it looks a little flat to me, so I added the Redmond 2K variant for those of us. But this is not replacing the default Serenity theme, of course. This is just something I was playing with today. So let's fix the file manager directory view thing so that it fills in the background again. Maybe item view should have that as its default behavior, actually. I think we'll set that as the default behavior. Is that not the default behavior? Why is it not the default behavior, by the way? Fill with B. It's off by default. It's off by default, but at the same time, the view is already filling. So what does table view do? So table view will just recklessly fill as well. So I think all of these guys probably fill. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make them fill if it's set, but then we'll set it by default. Is that fair? I think that's fair. And then we'll do it for tree view as well, because I bet he doesn't care either. Fill rect. Yep, there we have it. And maybe list view. Oh, list view seems like he might not do this actually. All right, so list view is a good boy. Almost. Yeah, we need to do the same thing down here. Okay, I am just running around looking for one more view, columns view. That's the guy I'm thinking of. He already has true here. Well, columns view is a good boy. That's one good boy point for Sergey and his columns view. All right, so we are gonna just tidy that up a little bit more here. So we'll say make view widgets fill background by default. Most clients will want background autofill. So let's make it the default. And okay, and then let's add the desktop services class thing. Here we go. Or actually, I shouldn't have done the directory view there. GUI add GUI desktop services open. This allows you to, this API allows you to open, lets you, this API is used to open a URL in whatever way the desktop system feels is best. If you give it an HTTP URL, it will open browser. If you give it a file URL, it will try to work out a boot application to open URL with. For all other protocols, it will open a browser instance. I really like that functionality. We're going to need to make it better by like figuring out what we do with child processes and so on and waiting on them and whatever, but like as a baseline thing, I think it's really good. So I think then we can say we use desktop services open here in the file manager. File manager, use GUI desktop services open to open files. Instead of squirreling away this logic deep in the file manager app, we now delegate file opening to GUI desktop services. Great. So where are we even now with everything? I gotta go look at the state of things. Okay, so this doesn't go so well because he opens it in browser. And of course there's no right click or anything like that. But we can't get everything done right away, but we should at least make it open correctly. So why do you try to open this stupid looking thing? I guess we're not getting the path out correctly. But let's see what we think the path is. Activated path. Path. Maybe we'll put some of these guys around it because I don't know what's going to be in there. It might just be the empty string or something. Node full path. Click, click. Activated path. Oh, look at that. This path looks totally good. Wait, so what's wrong with that? Why is that bad? Because, oh, because I'm just passing it as a string here. I'm not turning it into a URL. Okay, so, you know, I didn't like that we had to like set protocol file. Like that felt like such a mess. We're doing that in 2 places. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a way to just create a file URL? Like create file URL path, something like that. Create with file protocol. Something like that. And we can just make that helper. So we'll have like static URL create with file protocol path. And this will just do, let's just do this, right? I think that's a pretty good API. can use that wherever else it was used. So here, create with file protocol. That's going to be a bit of a rebuild since we're touching the URL class. I think it's a good change, so let's commit that. Add URL, create with file protocol path. This is a convenience helper that allows you to easily construct a file from a path, from an absolute path. Great. And then I guess we can add use URL create with file protocol in one place. And likewise with this one, right? Yeah, so file manager use URL create with file protocol place. Right, we are almost built. Almost. There we are. Okay. Still bad? But the path is looking good. Oh, but I guess I never actually used that thing. No, I didn't. So I gotta do create with file protocol. And now it's actually gonna do something interesting. So it's a bit goofy that you can, like, you can pass a URL. You can pass a string implicitly to something that takes a URL, but it's not going to recognize that it's a local file path, right? So I don't know what's a good behavior. Maybe we should, I don't know. Click, click. It finally works. See? Isn't that nice? We finally got there. Awesome. So let's commit. I think this is good enough to make an initial commit here. Obviously, there's a lot of functionality missing that we need to implement, but as a first step, I'm really happy with this. So let's say file manager allow running in desktop mode. File manager can now be started with the desktop argument. When it's started in this mode, it won't create. It will take over it will run as a window type desktop window instead, and not create any of its regular UI. The desktop version of the file manager is currently pretty bare bones, but we can improve it over time and share more code with the regular file manager. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think this is pretty cool. All right. So I think we're Actually, what happens if you remove that directory? And then things get very upset. So it doesn't really work. I was thinking, should we make something like this by default? But I don't want to put anything on the desktop by default right now. But what we are going to do is we're just going to make sure that the root file system at least creates the directory for everybody so that it will be there. So we'll make sure we make that directory desktop. There we go. So build. Make sure to create a home non-desktop directory. Yeah. So I think maybe like this is not quite ready for prime time yet, but or maybe it is. I'm not sure. Should we spawn this by default? Maybe we should. That'll give us way more testing if we just kick it up by default. So let's add it to the system server. Next to taskbar maybe. So desktop. Oh wait, how do we even launch this? Executable bin file manager and arguments desktop user anon keep alive. I guess that's for the socket thing, or no, that's that it's gonna respawn if it dies. So definitely yes. And I think we can just run it with a normal priority. So if we just start this way, will it be there? That would be really nice. Look at that. It's our boy, Mr. Desktop. Let's switch back to the default mode. There he is. So focus is a little bit awkward. So if I'm here and I click there, actually, yeah, it kind of sort of works. But we need to let it become focused. So let's see, let's commit this. Why the heck not? Base, start a desktop file manager by default. Okay, that's nice. I wonder if that focus issue is what that even is. I feel like we're checking like window is normal somewhere maybe. Or like we're making the window active because only the active window can have focus. And why don't we let him become active? Set active window. Set active window will check. Okay, so only set active window will reject anything who's not normal. So I think we will be a little bit cheeky here and just say, or maybe we can say like, and window can become active. Window type can become active. Okay. And then here we'll just say if type is window type normal or type is window type desktop. Maybe this will be enough because then you'll be able to unfocus. You'll be able to like deactivate the current window and activate the desktop window. If this is working the way I think it is. So if I click here, he doesn't become active. Wait, but now this thing is sticky active. Why does... Okay, so this is... It's not obvious what the problem is, but it was active there for a moment, but now I can't reactivate it. What would make it reject that? So if I close this, are you the active window now? No, not even now. Okay, that's a bit strange. Let's see. Window set active window. We'll just chunk out the window title when you set something active. Because I want to see if we are like rejecting it knowingly or what the deal is. Okay, so I'm clickety-clicking here and it doesn't care. So why don't you care? This is move to front, pick new active window, process mouse event. Is this normally happening in move to front and make active maybe? Is that how this normally happens? Let's see, process mouse event. I think maybe we're checking normal here somewhere. Yes, if window rect contains event position, so we're clicking on a window, we check that it's a normal window and the event type is mouse down. If so, we say move to front and make active. So obviously we can't move the desktop to the front, but we can make the desktop active. So we can actually modify this a tiny little bit here. We can say if it's a mouse down, if it's a normal window, then we'll move to front and make active. Else if it's the desktop window, set active window. Let's try that. Because that should give us the ability to make the desktop active. Click, 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 click. Look at that. That's pretty cool. All right, so now I can actually, oop. Wait, did he crash? He did crash. This isn't drag and drop crash. Okay, we're not going to debug that now, but we can actually grab this, drop it here. Can we do this with the file manager, I wonder? Oop. That didn't really do anything. Wait. It doesn't work. Okay, can I drag something here? No. Okay, so this needs some work, but can't do everything at once. Anyways, I'm just happy that we can now focus the desktop. So I think that's an important thing. So let's see, let's commit that as well. Windows server allow window type desktop windows to become active. This allows us to focus the desktop and interact with it normally. Cha-ching! Man, I got a lot of those today. Anyways, I think this is going to be it for today's video. So it finally works, right? And I think that's pretty awesome. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out. And I'm glad we did some old school OS hacking today, working on the desktop, bringing it forward into the future of, 20 years ago style desktops, which I really like. It's my favorite type of desktop paradigm, so that's what we're going for. But you know that already if you're on this channel, so I hope that you saw something interesting here, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.